What is up, Prog family? Oh my god, what a Friday. I'm still recuperating from that price action. That was insane.
That was a great game.
That was an
Tell
awesome
you, James,
game.
That was awesome.
I gotta say.
And you know what you got to do after an awesome game and that sort of thing is
we gotta
you work
come
hard
out
in the
with
corner.
style.
You gotta come out in style, right? You got to get the Blazers on, that sort of thing, leaving the arena, leaving the stadium.
Oh yeah.
Very proud. Good win for the Apes. Well done.
We are the Great Canadian Apes, and we're not financial advisors. This is not financial advice, so take everything you hear with a grain of salt, and let's get into the video.
All right, Progenity, my goodness, on Friday we crushed it. Closing at 489, opening at 404, going down into the 394 or so, having that strong support actually at 4 and keeping up throughout the day was unbelievable. We had a 60% increase last week, opening up at 305, closing at 489, and taking a look at Ortex data. One of the weirdest things that happened last week, and they say a lot of it is just accounting reasons, is that the free float increased from 68 million shares on Monday to 112 million shares on Friday. Now, the outstanding shares remain the same. And I called the Ortex in both Great Britain and New York a couple times last week, and they are still looking into it to be able to give me a definitive answer as to how and why it increased like almost 50 million shares. Now, the shares on loan increased from 36 million, up 10%, up to 40.5 million. They just love, borrowing this, and they're borrowing it at 110%. And the current short interest is 24 million shares. Percentage free float on loan is up 10%. The estimated short interest, they have it here at 2207. Over here, estimated short interest is 23.8. Let's say it's 23. It failed to delivers. The boom boom yellow candles.
The boom boom yellow.
It's just unbelievable.
Unbelievable.
And we have 6 million reported as retail investors. The best data that we can get is from October 29th. That is $22 million worth at the time of 6 million shares failed to deliver. So last week we opened at number 1 on Fintel's short squeeze list.
Yep.
And that would have been for like the second, third week in a row.
Yeah.
And
crazy.
When the shares increased, then we went down to about 10th, 15th, that sort of thing, but then quickly came back to number 2. And I bet you, baby, we're going to be in top 3, if not number 1 tomorrow. Because with that increase and what the in the money's now and that sort of thing, it's quite something. The in the money call options from Friday, just to recap that again, we finished unbelievable over the 450 and well over the 450, making almost 8 million shares in the money. And I calculate this as they either hedged for this already, or there's a good chance that there's a lot they haven't hedged for yet. And so
there is a good chance.
Yeah.
And also I think that there's a good chance that they haven't hedged for a lot of them is because they're not even covering their failure to delivers from friggin' October.
Yeah.
Why the hell would they be covering them from now?
Yeah.
Right?
Exactly. And so, who knows what, trickery they're going to try and do to weasel themselves out of this. But you can only kick the can down the road so much, that sort of thing. Then the Grim Reaper comes. But if they are to make good on all of these, which they only have a T2 system, so they've got to make good on it by the end of Tuesday and buy all these.
Or they're on the threshold list for these. Again, don't put a time limit because time limits can often be disappointing. I remember in AMC, we thought, oh, this date, and then it didn't happen. Well, you know what? They can't kick the can down the road too many days because at T35, they eventually have to buy them anyways.
That's right.
And that they can't get
on
out
the
of.
threshold.
Yeah.
That's right. Yeah. And so, just keep on going. This is the data that we saw again last week. And yes, we finished that 10% of the entire, and I call it the available float because it's what the available free float, in as much as the 112 million minus the 40 million that they've already borrowed, and the majority of which has been shorted from that. And so the remaining 72 million, they've got to come up with 8 million from that. Now, yes, absolutely, they would have hedged for some of them. Absolutely. But not all. And that's what we see. We see them trying to scramble, and that's why often we see prices the next day going up. So, we see that in GME. So here, when GME finished on January 8th, and then 2 days later, after the T2, it doubled in price. The next week went up to 35. All of a sudden, when did it really get back up there? Just after that, just after those 2 days. And certainly on the January 22nd, it goes up again to 65. And then after 2 days, that's when we saw like $380, $483. So it says T2, and if history repeats itself, it seems a couple days after it goes up. When we take a look at the AMC, similarly, a couple days after a lot of in-the-money calls come in, the price goes up. Meaning that, sure, the hedgies covered some, but not all.
Yep.
If you think that hedgies covered every single one of those 8 million that ended up in the money, I don't think so. Not financial advice. I don't think so. When it was $26, and then 2 days later it goes up to 72, then.
And also, if you're thinking that they've hedged before, well, whatever they're doing for Prog, they did for AMC. So if they're hedging for Prog, they hedged for AMC, and it still went up 26 to 72. So.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And when we take a look at Prog specifically as well, when it went into $2.14, which was a big increase from their $1
for sure
for the monthlies in September, then 2 days later, we saw a big increase. It increased to $3.55 from a close of $2.14. So you're looking at a 75% increase in 2 days.
Yep.
I'm not saying it's going to happen, but a lot of other times it happens. We did see some really nice volume there. Midweek. At the end of the day, we had 120 million in volume on Friday. So that shot right up. That was pretty solid there as well.
That's sweet, yeah. Okay, so I just want to take a little quick look at the holidays. So just so you guys know, the markets are closed Thanksgiving Thursday, November 25th, and the New York Stock Exchange closed at 1 p.m. on Friday, November 26th, and aftermarket will close at 5 p.m. So options will close at 1:15 p.m., just so you guys have that heads up.
Love that. That was a hell of a fight last week, Apes. That was good.
That was quite a fight.
I loved that.
That was a bloody fist fight. That's drop the gloves
That was
shit.
drop the gloves, put the foil on the gloves type of deal. Okay. And I wanted to kind of consolidate this a little bit, read into it what you will, and certainly do all of your DD over and above this. Absolutely. We're a couple crazy Canucks putting hockey helmets on, that sort of thing. Sure. Yeah. My background, I have, a degree in economics, took the stockbroking, course, so I have some background. Then I have Masters of Education in mathematics teaching. And so that's where you'll see some graphs and that sort of thing. And so by no means am I a trader. I'm not a financial advisor in any way. I've got a little bit of background, but kind of a crazy Canuck putting a hockey helmet on and saying, here we go, right? Here we go. So the between the estimated 6 million, just think of it, there's 6 million failure to delivers last reported. There's 24 million shorted shares as per Ortex. There was almost 8 million in the money calls from last week. That combined is 37 million shares, or 33% of this 112 million free float. The shorts are in a world of hurt. No matter how you put it together, I'm thinking they're in a world of hurt. And I think that was evident as they could not drive the price down on Friday.
They really couldn't.
They really couldn't. It's they saved it from $5.
Yeah.
That was all they could do. It's like,
they saved it from going up 20% in a day.
That's it. It's like there's not too many stocks goes up in 13% on Friday.
I do want to just look in here for a second. So Progenity, just so you guys know, and we covered this before, but they will be at the Piper Sandler 33rd Annual Virtual Healthcare Conference, which will be available on the conference website beginning at 10 a.m. Eastern and 7 a.m. Pacific on November 22nd, 2021. So that is this Monday.
So things to look out for next week. Again, not financial advice, entertainment purpose only. Watch pre-market prices. Market manipulators will likely try to bring the price down on Monday morning pre-market so that buying in the money calls on Friday will look less attractive. Now, I don't know what happens to these. Maybe some of you were holding. I've seen that in AMC, for instance, sometimes for that battle of $40 lately, that sort of thing, then we win and it's over the $40. But then all of a sudden it goes into after hours or pre-market on Monday, and they drive it down because the volume isn't there, and they've got it, enough to be able to drop it. Maybe not during peak hours, but all of a sudden when everybody's sleeping at 4:30 in the morning and we can't even trade, all of a sudden they're going to jam the price down. And so there might just be a situation there where the person that was going to exercise the call and maybe even already called their broker because they would have had to have done this on Friday, I don't know that situation. And so if somebody is out there that can enlighten us on it, drop us a comment. Love your comments coming in to be able to say, okay, if let's say you had a 450 call and then all of a sudden Monday morning it's jammed down to 375 because everybody's still sleeping and they do their market manipulation crap so that it ends up being lower than the 450. Well, do you have to accept that? I mean, what happens in that situation? But I do see that many times the prices that next day, they used to try and have the fight like the 801 and the 1201 and all that sort of stuff.
Yep.
There's some of that still going on. But if you look, then right after, they just try and jam the price down.
Yep, for sure. You know what you guys got to do? You got to buy the dip.
You got to buy the dip.
You see, you got to go up to the shelf. You got to see what dip you like, and you got to buy the dip.
Onion and chive Philly, baby.
Not financial advice, not health advice, not financial advice.
They can certainly do that. Push the price down, buy the dip, it'll be tasty. The second thing, increased price pressure could continue next week as hedgies likely have not covered all of the in-the-money calls. Especially, that day could have went either way. We went down to 394. There is talk of it, as long as it's over a 350 or a 4, then we're going to be good. Well, 75% of the end of the money calls came from, there was 2 million that came in at the 350, another 2 million at $4, another 2 million at 450. I don't think they were spending money on Friday trying to buy those that were getting in the money. I think they drove it down there in the last hour with whatever money they had earmarked to be able to take care of this fire of Prog that is emerging for us. And rather than buying the calls.
Because if they would have allowed it to go over 5, that would have been insane. That would have been another 4 million.
3.8 million would have been in there. And so that would have been 10 million from 350 to $5.
So if I'm a hedge fund, I'm not thinking hedging this shit. I'm just trying to get this thing down.
Something that I don't have to buy another 4 million. What are you going to do?
Or the market maker,
Right? Yeah. And so likely there's going to be some price pressure there. And then that's going to be number 3, prices by early mid next week. If history repeats itself as per the AMC, GME, and the Progenity charts from previous times where the in the monies have increased. And this month's in the money went from $2 to $4.50. It more than doubled. And so that's what happens, right? That's where it goes up. So history tends to repeat itself. So if you haven't loaded your boat already, not financial advice. If you haven't loaded your boat already, then Monday morning early might be the time to do it. Pre-market, it's going to do 2 things for you. If you want a bigger share in this, then you're going to be able to get it, I think, at a lower price before they're covering everything that they haven't covered so far. Also, then what we're doing at the same time simultaneously is just in case they are trying to get it down to under that 450, then it's going to support that price, that sort of thing. And so let's just make sure they don't do any stupidness during early morning on Monday. Now,
favorite word in the stock market, especially when you're already in a stock, FOMO buying.
That's it.
FOMO buying.
That's it. Get it before the FOMO.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, ape community, the great Canadian ape community, and that involves worldwide. We've got the German, we got Irish, we got the States, we got everybody, right? Korea, everybody. The next thing, watch these guys. I don't know. In July, I unfortunately, as an ape, lost a shit ton of money on premium options. that's wonderful. And I hope a lot of people made some money there last week on their options. I played some. I'm up. That sort of thing, and especially with my leaps. I'm way up on my leaps.
Yeah, I'm good with my leaps.
It's ridiculous how good those are. The actual dates, the actual November 19th, those were in and out. They were kind of crazy because it was such a crazy week.
Yeah.
But no doubt the shorties are in a world of hurt. They had to pay a lot of money for the puts as well that were out of the money. Anything under 450 was out of the money. Yep. They tried to hedge things with those. They lost everything. From there down, from the 450 down, and so they're going to be looking for. I mean, we all know that the sellers of options are often these hedgies, right? So it's like going to
hedgies and market makers.
You're going and you're placing a bet, and they're getting the money.
Yep.
So you're giving them the money that they can then go and buy bullets with to be able to shoot this down.
Yep.
So. Now, with that in mind, yes, I'll still buy calls. I'll still buy options, that sort of thing, because they're the only people that are selling. Of course, anybody can sell a covered call, that sort of thing. I could sell a covered call. I've got thousands of shares in Prog. I could go and I could say, I'm going to do some covered calls. Anybody could, but it's the major market people that are doing it en masse in the tens of thousands of things. And so they get the inflated premiums. So watch for the inflated premiums on call options by hedgies coming out as they try to recoup their losses from last week's in the money calls and what they lost in their out of the money put options. I bought AMC calls for like $45 ones for like $15-20.
Yeah.
They inflate the prices. And I hope not too many of you, can feel that pain along with me. Hopefully it's just me
too. Yeah.
But that's what they do. These friggers, they jack the price on the premiums, and so really watch for that. Look at the implied volatility on them. And hey, if you're in early and that's going your way, sweet.
Yeah.
But if you're not into a call yet and you're looking at like 300-400% implied volatility, the AMC's went up to like 600%, then no. Say no, hedgy, I'm not going to pay your crazy premium for this. I'm going to buy shares. I'm going to further support this, and we're going to
squeeze you guys.
We're going to squeeze you guys. You thought we were going to squeeze us? We're going to squeeze you guys.
Okay, so fraud articles will be increasing this week, which is an amazing sign because the shorts are in deep trouble. So take a look at this, right? With Progendi, what is pumped will be dumped.
And this is not a pump and dump.
This is not a pump and dump.
Ridiculous to think that is a pump and dump.
Ridiculous.
Anyway, yeah.
It's an awesome company, and they're doing awesome things. November 16th, 2021. And guess what it went up to from there? Finished at 489 with 7.9 million shares having to be bought. So, you know what? You know what I say with that? I say, FUD blockers on, baby. You can't listen to this shit, because this is just trying to manipulate you. Honestly. It's just trying to manipulate you.
That's it.
All right, guys, thank you so much for watching. Again, we are the Great Canadian Apes. Let's get these Christmas tendies. Not financial advice. We got Jill Howe here bringing our Christmas tendies. I'm going to love it because I love Christmas and I love Christmas presents, and I know all you guys do too. So let's do this, Ape community. We got this Monday. Look out for it. Don't listen to any of the FUD, and thank you guys so much for watching. If you enjoyed the video, please like, comment, subscribe, and I'll drop in the link below in the description, a link to the Reddit server, and we're almost up to 10,000 people on there, so that's so cool to see, and thank you guys so much. We'll see you next time.
All right.
Ape strong!
Ape strong.
Woo!
Go.